We don't know this stuff. So I'm going to introduce you. This is Suzanne.
Hello.
And Suzanne, I never say your last name right. Shivi?
Yes, that's correct.
Shivi. You think I would
Yes,
know
you
that
got
because
it.
Suzanne is technically, if anybody knows us, I don't have a family tree. I have a very dark family forest. And Suzanne is technically my former stepdaughter from another marriage. It gets even more complicated.
Yeah.
And we didn't meet Suzanne, her father, or I until she was 28.
Yes, correct.
28. So
Okay.
it gets more complicated than that, people. But if I explain it, that'll take an hour for us, and you don't want
I
that.
think it's more, I think it would actually take more than an hour. When I've talked to friends about it, it's usually been several bottles of wine
Yes.
and more than one meeting.
People are very confused by our whole family forest.
They're not the only ones.
Leave it to say, Suzanne is technically, we just call her my stepdaughter, and we're only like how many years apart? 10?
No, hang on. I think it's, wait a minute.
I'm 62.
12, well, 12, no, wait. Gosh, you're asking me to do math. I think it's 9. No, wait, that's not right. So I'm 55.
55, well, then we're not that old. I'm 62. So we're not that
7. I can't do math anymore.
So anyway, she's my stepdaughter. We're nearly the same age. Her father and I have not been married now for lots of years, and it just gets more complicated. So what we're here to talk about is Suzanne was raised in England, and while we all speak English, our English is not the same English. Not even.
So, well, some of you pretend to speak English, but it's really not. It's not the same English that I grew up with.
So we are going to talk about how some of the words are just a bit different over there across the pond than they are here, and how it can get pretty damn funny sometimes.
Yes. And I've got a friend here to make sure.
Oh, the queen. There we go.
Queen's here, and one of her corgis. Hang on, let me turn it the right way. There he is.
We're fresh out of corgis.
Absolutely. And I have a drink for Martini Monday because it's
Martini Monday.
Yes, cheers.
Martini Monday with the queen.
Cheers. Because it's actually 6 o'clock in the UK right now. So it's definitely 5 o'clock somewhere.
Somewhere.
Right?
And we'll be showing this at 4:30 p.m. this afternoon in theory. This is our first time we're going to try this videotaped ahead. So in theory, this is going on at 4:30, so we'll see.
Yes.
So there we are. Cheers to everyone for Martini Monday.
Cheers.
So let's talk a bit about this, Suzanne.
Sure.
So, Suzanne, if we were going to have one of these in the morning, this Oreo cookie, what would you call this?
So in England, we call those biscuits.
No, that's not
biscuits. I actually brought my own here. These are, and believe it or not, I have some from the freezer I have not touched.
Oh, sure.
So, but I actually wouldn't call these Girl Scout biscuits. I would call these Girl Scout cookies because that's what they've always been since I've been here. But those that you have, those are biscuits.
No, those are cookies. I hate to tell you, those are cookies. So then what we call a biscuit is what over there?
Probably, well, this is a tricky word because it's said differently depending on what part of the UK or, Ireland that you're in. But it can either be called a scone or a scone.
A scone, which we would have with tea.
Yes, you have it. Typically, you would have a scone or a scone with jam and clotted cream in the afternoon.
So this is called what?
Jam.
No, this is jelly.
No, it's not. No, that is not jelly. Jelly is like a pudding or something that you make and stick in the freezer. Yes, that's jelly.
This is Jello.
Jelly to me.
What do you call Jello?
Jelly.
What do you call jelly?
What do you call jelly?
Jam.
Jam, yes.
What do you call jam?
Jam. So jam to us is your jelly, and Jello to us is jelly. Now, see, you got me very confused.
Well, you're the people that are screwing up the words here.
I should know better, right? I should know better. So, but yes, jam is what you put on a scone for afternoon tea with clotted cream. Jello or jelly to me is what you eat typically when you're sick. I would always have jelly and ice cream. So when I was in the hospital and I was having my tonsils out, that's all I could eat for 2 weeks.
That's what I love about the hospital. When I was in, like, whatever it was, 11 years ago for my abdominal surgery, you haven't eaten for a week and a half. you're freaking sick. What do they bring you? Soda.
Yep.
Or pop, as some people call it.
Yeah.
Jello.
Right.
And then they would bring you broth that never saw chicken in its life. And I would say, I'm dying here. Can we eat something healthy? Why am I eating this crap in the hospital? Yeah, it was crazy.
Exactly.
So you have down that tea is also dinner.
Yes. So in fact, when I talk to my mom in the UK, I get very confused because she talks about dinner, and I've been here for so long now that I assume that's the evening meal, but it's not. For her, it's lunch.
Lunch is dinner. Dinner is tea. It's very, this whole thing is
and
very
tea
confusing.
is tea. Her tea would be taken at lunchtime. No, wait, her tea would be taken at our dinner time. Her dinner would be taken at our lunchtime, and tea is usually in the afternoon at 4 o'clock, and then at 5 o'clock you hit the bar, right?
Well, that's one good thing, I guess.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
One good thing. And then the other thing I was going to use to hold up, but I had none, is potato chips.
Yes.
Are crisp.
Crisps.
Crisp.
Crisp.
But then what we call French fries are chips.
Yes.
So chips are crisp are French fries.
Yes.
And then no.
So crisps are your chips, and our chips are your French fries. And sometimes you will have a chip butty, especially when you're having fish and chips and mushy peas for dinner or tea.
And you described a chip butty. Tell us about what that is.
So a chip butty is basically another word for a sandwich, but when you have it with fish and chips, typically you would have 2 big slabs of white bread with a big hunk of butter on both, and then you season your chips or your French fries with salt and vinegar, never ketchup. Sometimes HP sauce if you're feeling inclined.
You know, I have to say, Suzanne, the English are nice people. Your food really sucks. I have to say, your food really sucks.
Do you know that's what Dad said to me when I came that very first summer in 1993? He said to me he didn't know how I'd survived that long because the food was really crap.
Really sucks. Yeah, we hated it.
It's a lot better now, though, I have to say. I mean, obviously my mom is still alive, so you know it's pretty good.
But I love those. Suzanne described the sandwich, which is ostensibly a French fry sandwich with butter and vinegar. And when she described it, she said, I don't believe there's a U.S. equivalent. I wonder why. You really wonder why, Suzanne? Who the hell wants to eat that? That's the worst thing I've ever heard in my life.
It's one of those, you know how you guys, after you've been out, maybe you've been out late and you've had a few too many martinis and y'all want to go to IHOP or Denny's or somewhere and have greasy breakfast food. We like the chip butties. That's when we like the chip butties. Or we'll go to the Chippy, which is the chip shop, where they just do variations on French fries on the way home from the pub. And you can have chips and gravy, or you can have chips and curry.
Either
of which are spectacular.
Chips and gravy. I'll maybe give you French fries with gravy.
And you know the gravy I'm talking about is not this white chicken stuff that you serve over biscuits in the morning or over scones in the morning. It's like a brown gravy, the same kind of gravy you might make when you're having roast beef and Yorkshire pudding.
The Yorkshire pudding is the one good part of England. You do make that for us at Christmas, and I do like it.
I'll never forget the first time I said I was going to make that and the looks I got, and now I have to make like 25 Yorkshire puddings every time we have
we do like
Christmas
the Yorkshire
dinner
pudding
because everybody eats it.
Now, I have one for you. While we're talking about the kitchen, what do you call this stuff?
That is aluminium foil or tin foil.
Aluminium. Yes. This is aluminium foil, if you people don't know. You might have thought it was aluminum foil, but it's aluminium foil. Do they spell it with another I in there?
Yes. We actually spell it with an I, with an extra I. Or actually, you took out the I when you also took out all of those U's in color and favorite and all of those other words that I basically had to learn how to respell when I moved over here.
We went ahead and did it. And then what do you call this? I love
cling
this.
Film. This is cling film.
Cling film. It actually, we found that it does say that on here somewhere. We found that one time.
Does it really?
Yeah, I think that we looked one of the last times. I don't know if it was this brand, but we started laughing because it actually did say cling film somewhere. Maybe not here now. But on one of them when we were looking recently, it did say actually cling film, and we cracked up. I said, they're catering to the English here.
Yeah, I actually find that cling film is actually a really bad name for it because it clings to anything except the thing that you're supposed to have it cling to preserve your food.
Oh, and then that extra clingy stuff, that's really bad. I can't
Yeah,
even
exactly.
I can't even. Okay, so now we had a shortage of something here during our time. Can you tell us what this would be called?
Okay, so that is known affectionately as loo roll or bog roll.
The bog roll.
Used when you go to the bog or the loo.
The loo. So and of course when you go to the loo, you have to queue up sometimes.
Yes, we always have to queue, especially if you're a woman or a girl.
Queue up
for the loo. Is there a queue for the loo? Yes. So when you're at the pub,
standing in line for the toilet.
Yes, when you're at the pub having your gin and tonic with a bit of lemon or a bitter lemon or a martini or a pint, the question always is there a queue for the loo when you have to go?
There we go. The queue for the loo. And what do we call this?
That is kitchen towel, or I think we call it kitchen towel. What did I say? What did I say I called that? Kitchen roll. That's it. Yes, kitchen roll, bog roll, loo roll.
Okay. So now we get into clothing. There's so many of these things. Oh, I know one thing though, while we're still on food, one of my favorite lines that Suzanne uses when she's over, she says, "I'm feeling a bit peckish." A bit peckish, and that means she's a little bit hungry. Like you're not dinner, like not I want dinner hungry, but you're a little bit hungry.
Maybe an appetizer or something, just some nuts or a little bit of an appetizer to just take the edge off the appetite before you have your tea or your dinner, depending on what country you're in.
There we go. Feeling peckish around here could mean something different because we right now have a baby hummingbird that we're trying to nurse back to health. So he feels a little peckish sometimes too.
Right, exactly.
So let's get on to clothes. So if I were going to put on my sweater, my cardigan, what would I put on in the UK?
Well, if it's a cardigan, if it's the buttons up at the front, then we'd also call it a cardigan, but we would normally call that a jumper.
A jumper.
A jumper, yes.
A jumper for us is a little dress with where you put a blouse under it, like little girls wear to private school. Right. That's a jumper. But you call that something else.
Yeah, we call that a pinafore.
Yeah, well, we would call this a pinafore. You guys have everything mixed up. This is what I would call more of a pinafore, would be like this kind of thing would be a pinafore.
Okay, so that's just a dress to me. I think pinafore also can refer to an apron.
This is like in front of a dress, like you put, well, it's what I would call an apron, but back in the day, they used to wear these, if I was a colonial woman.
Right.
But, we're not going to talk about colonial times because then we're going to get into slavery. Okay, so that would be a pinafore in my book. Yes. And then you had a different one for, what was a bonnet? A bonnet is something totally different.
Oh, a bonnet is, it's in the car, actually. The bonnet is the hood of the car.
The car. And we call a bonnet what the colonial ladies would have worn back then.
Right. Well, we still have, I think you could still call it a bonnet, but I'm not sure people actually wear them anymore.
No, I don't think so. No, the Amish people do. If they're watching.
England, I haven't seen anybody wearing a bonnet in England for a long, long time.
Quakers, when we went to the what do you call it, the Grand Canyon a few years ago, we had a room at the El Tovar that looked all over right the edge of the Grand Canyon. Early in the morning came a bunch of Quakers and they had their bonnets on, so they're still wearing those. So this is the one that cracks me up. Oh, I didn't bring down the right things, but you call these
pumps.
Pumps. Yes. Could you imagine putting on your pumps, ladies, and this is what it is? And you also call
those are pumps.
Trainers too, right?
Pumps or trainers, yes.
Trainers, but pumps, I can't believe. Pumps are, this is not what I think of when I think of pumps.
Yeah.
So what do you call what we call pumps? High heels?
Yeah, high heels, stilettos. Winkle pickers, that's the one I forgot to tell you. Winkle pickers.
What's a winkle picker?
A winkle picker is another name for high heels.
Oh, it sounds like you're going to pull on somebody's weenie to me. If I was a winkle picker, I think I'd be pulling somebody's wiener.
Winkles, I think winkle pickers got their name because they have a sharp heel, the spiky heels. And so if you were going to the seaside in England and you didn't feel like fish and chips, you might have a little cone of winkles. And so you would need a winkle picker to get those open.
Well, how funny is that?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, winkle picker sounds like what you actually would call a wanker to me. I think a wanker would be a winkle picker. Would be the same thing.
Are you saying people are jerks? Is that what you're saying?
How about now if you told me to put it in my boot, You wouldn't be talking about this.
No, I have a bunch of stuff to take to Goodwill, and it definitely wouldn't fit in that boot.
No.
So the boot is the trunk of the car.
The trunk of the
right?
car. So
and a trunk to us is the thing that an elephant has at the front of its head. It has nothing to do with the car at all.
So the boot and the bonnet are all there. Now the one that I really thought, and of course, if we have too many of these, I would be drunk.
Yes, pissed.
You'd be pissed. I remember when I was 22, I first moved to Hawaii, and I met a girl from Australia. Well, she was actually from New Zealand, but living in Australia, or vice versa. And we were communicating by written letter, because that's what you did 114 years ago, like that. And she wrote to me, and she said, on the way home on the airplane, I got so pissed. And I had to write back. It took me weeks to find out what she was so angry about. And I found out she wasn't angry at all, but she was drunk.
Yeah. Well, you could also say pissed as a fart if you've had too many martinis.
Pissed as a fart.
Yeah, pissed as a fart.
Mm-hmm. And then you had another name, minging. I've never heard of that.
Minging.
What's that?
Minging is crap, basically. It's really minging. It's just not very good. Or it's pants, actually.
Oh, it's pants. You said it's pants.
Yeah, it's pants means it's pretty lousy.
Pretty lousy. And then one of my other favorite ones here was, I found out that if I asked you if my fanny has gotten big, it's not exactly the same.
Yeah, we don't say that word in nice company. You just don't use the word fanny.
It's like a little like the C word for your vajayjay. That's kind of.
Yes, it's probably not quite as harsh as that, but yeah, fanny is not a word that you use in polite conversation in England, because it means something completely different.
So you don't tell somebody, hey, you might not want to bend over because your fanny is showing, because they're going to think.
No, that would imply something completely different. We actually have a different. We do, you'd probably say bum, but we also spell ass differently.
A-R-S?
No, A-R-S-E.
Arse.
And I can't be arsed means I can't be bothered.
Can't be arsed. Okay.
Yeah, can't be arsed.
There you go. And then of course we getting into the fanny versus the bum versus the vajayjay. So then we get into if you're going to be making out, you're snogging.
Yes, snogging is a very heavy session of kissing with tongue and sometimes a lot of slobber, depending on whether the guy that you're kissing or the girl that you're kissing is a good kisser or not. And I never understood when I first moved here what necking meant. Necking to me was just this foreign word, and I had these visions of giraffes with their necks wrapped around each other, and yeah, exactly. Or flamingos. Anything with a long neck. Necking to me just doesn't say the same thing at all.
I don't know, snogging sounds a little strange to us.
Snogging is okay. You can talk
snogging sounds to me like there's going to be snot that is, as we do this.
No snot.
If
no
ever
snot
made out
involved.
with the cold, I would consider that snogging.
No, snogging is okay. Snogging is okay, as long as you're with the right person.
And then thanks to Austin Powers, we all know what shagging is.
Yes. Shagging is not, shagging in England is not the same thing as doing the shag in the Carolinas, for example. Yeah, that was very, so when I first moved to the US, I lived in Atlanta. So there was a lot of shagging going on, and I was very surprised to hear that people actually did it in public.
In public, and there are contests for it.
Exactly. I was very confused by that.
Yes, shag contests, yes, they can get very animated.
Yeah, and a shag is a haircut, right? Isn't it also a particular type of haircut?
That's what we wore back in the day with Farrah Fawcett. She had a shag.
A shag cut, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there we had
That's
all
right.
that. There are just a number of these. So the kind of wine I drink, anybody who knows me knows that I only have one flaw, and that is my choice of wine. Because I like Moscato and really cheap shit wine. That's like wine I like. So my kind of wine, you call it plunk.
Yeah, plunk. It usually refers to red wine, but it can refer to really cheap stuff, normally out of a box or the stuff with the screw top. Although screw tops now are more popular.
Yes.
But for us, our plunk growing up was Riesling because it was cheap German sweet stuff, and it's just gross. I'm sorry, that's just an anomaly to wine, in my opinion.
But you know
right
what?
Up there with Chardonnay.
It's my only flaw. And I know, so if you know your faults, that's the start, and that's my only.
Exactly.
Yes, And so if you have a dummy around a baby, it's not somebody stupid.
No, it's pacifier.
The pacifier is your dummy.
Yeah. I never had one. I never had one. Didn't like them. Thought they were pretty useless, actually.
Well, and then you have you don't change your diapers, you change your nappies.
That's right. Nappies, not diapers.
Yeah, I like taking a little nappy. If I lay a baby down for a nappy, I'm not diapering them, I'm laying them down.
Yeah, that's no, you definitely wouldn't want a nappy in bed with you, that's for sure. Especially if it was a full nappy.
Fold nappies are not good. So there are just a number of these things. And then this is only the beginning, because if you were in Australia or New Zealand, a lot of these words have another whole totally.
Yeah, and they tend to shorten everything in Australia. When I lived there, to chuck a sickie means to take a sick day.
To do what?
And people usually do that if there's a good game of cricket that they want to go watch, which of course doesn't explain the fact that the next day you come into work after you've chucked a sickie, you have a really good tan line.
Chucked a sickie. There you go.
We don't say that in England.
Chuck a sickie. I love that.
Yeah.
Now we just call it a personal day. Now.
Yes, exactly. Personal
day. Back in the days, we had to lie. You couldn't say, I need to take a day off because I just moved yesterday. I have to call in sick.
Yes.
I remember that occurring, and then I ran into the CEO of our company while I was at Home Depot picking up things I needed for my move, and that was I had to look sick.
That's right. Got to be careful.
Yeah, I don't like those things. So now we can take personal days. We don't have to chuck a sickie anymore.
That's right.
Trying to think anything else we had. I just did a challenge a few days ago where I dressed in a trash bag, and you call that a rubbish bag, right?
Yeah, I think a rubbish bag, because it's a rubbish bin. You put the bins out, you don't put the garbage cans out. So that actually was rubbish, and something can be a load of rubbish or a load of old codswallop. It basically means the same thing. You wouldn't call it a codswallop can, but you call it a rubbish bin.
There you go.
Yeah.
And then the other one was a bun. Explain this to me. A barm cake or a bap? What's that?
Okay. So a bomb cake or a bap, again, it's one of those things that basically just means a bun, usually a round bun that you can cut in half and put a sandwich meat or something on there. And there's all sorts of different names depending on which region of the UK you come from. And so I grew up calling them baps or bomb cakes, but it doesn't mean you're barmy.
And if you're barmy
means crazy.
Crazy.
Barmy means crazy.
Heard that one. Crazy.
Yeah.
Barmy. It's just a little so we could go eat our chips, which would really be our French fries, and put them on a barm cake.
Yes.
And we could have a chip buddy.
Yep.
And it just it gets really complicated, and we could
with biscuits after for pudding.
There you go.
Yeah.
And have a little Yorkshire pudding, which is not dessert.
No, Yorkshire pudding must go with roast beef though, and roast potatoes. It just doesn't work otherwise. Although I've done it before as part of other meals.
Yeah, they're pretty darn good. That is one good thing. So when we feel a little peckish, we need to have a few of those things. So anyway, well, that's our thing. We have a few more words here, but it's just crazy that we're all speaking the same language, but we are not speaking the same language at all.
That's right. That's right.
And
I hope people aren't completely knackered now from all these words that we've given you to remember.
And that wasn't naked, that was knackered. That's a whole different. Don't get naked. If you do, don't get on.
Knackered means completely exhausted. And it's actually exhausting looking at all the different ways we can say the same thing.
It is. And so not to be confused with naked below the waist, which is what some people have done while they're on Zoom calls.
Yeah, exactly.
And that didn't. Yeah,
just don't stand up and show your fanny off, right?
I try to keep that under covers, especially
good to know.
Especially since COVID and the COVID-10, I really try to keep things under wraps.
Yeah, I don't think I have a COVID-10. I think I have more like a COVID-20.
Yeah, it's not good.
And my camera doesn't work anymore because it's adding way too many pounds.
I hear you. I don't, I'm not liking the COVID. No. So anyway, that's it for us. And I'm excited. I might get my her daughter, my granddaughter in a couple weeks here for a few weeks. So that's exciting.
Perfect.
So that'll be fun.
Here's everybody.
Here's to the phrases over the pond that are incorrect as opposed to are correct.
I'm going to do it. My queen is going to do a little bit of a wave. Let's see if she's waving. There she is. She's waving.
There we go.
She's waving. Kind of like this, actually. You got to do the Queen's wave.
There we go.
From the wrist. There we go. Perfect. You did great.
Got it.
Okay.
Isn't that very queenly?
I love it.
I almost wore my queen robe today, but I would have been so hot. I couldn't do it. I thought about it, but I couldn't. So I got a dress to match my most queenly.
I love it.
I know. Too bad we couldn't put Buckingham Palace, but if we did, I didn't crown any longer.
Hey,
So,
you do what you can, right?
you know what? I decided what was most important: Buckingham Palace, and
The Queen, right? Well, you made I think you made the right choice.
I do. So anyway, so we will put this up in theory at 4:30.
Okay.
So she'll see. So there we have it.
All right. Cheerio.
All right. Cheerio.
Cheerio. Till the next time.
All right. Bye-bye.